Good morning. Or whatever it is, wherever you are. Let's see. Huh? I'm still dealing with the update of non-interactive mode. I guess that means that I'm not requiring me to pick playlists? Device. Okay, I need to set that up later. I was wondering if there was like the old player mode, because this is much larger. No. Well. So last time we got this one-to-one mapping working. But the real point of this is to get this summarized at higher level zooms. And I've got it set up to reuse the lower levels, but that gets into lots and lots of missed hits, which is maybe going to be its own issue, although we kind of accepted it for the old map. Maybe need to have some sort of indexed image layer or something. But that's just up to how we defined the view and leaflet. In order to actually produce that, and other than being able to safely reproduce the one-to-one, I guess safely reproducing the one-to-one is still a thing. I think what we have to do is we have to translate to tile local coordinates and then do the compression down on a cell-by-cell basis. Because otherwise you're going to scale like through the other stuff. So like if we're trying to do stuff out here, we want to compress the coordinates in here, but if we also compress that, then like this stuff is going to end up over here in this tile, and that's no good. We still need to be relative to those coordinates. So right now, I think tile X and tile Y still hold. So it's really this. That's our relative coordinate. And I actually had to do something in that in the, what is it? PNG format, which makes me wonder if maybe some of that translation should be in like a tile object or something. Yeah, so this is reversing it from the tile X, tile Y. Now there's a +1, -1 in here that could be a bit interesting with that. Tile X, tile Y, and then minus that, and then this is coordinates within there, but that's just minus offset. So doing that would work. Let's get the tile coordinate. I mean, really, I think it's probably just like percentile width or modulus. And then we have a scaling factor of some sort. I think I started playing with it and it's like, you know what, I don't want to do this today. What do we call it? It was a stride in the other thing, but that was skipping. This is... I think we based it on 24. Which would be the scaling factor per... sample size? No, it is percent tile width. I guess I should bring these out as well. I was using txty for something before. And there is the coordinate within the tile, and then there's is... well, tile X and tile Y seem to not be, so I guess this is defaulting to integer division? And this is just map run. Oh, right. My output layer is also, does it also need to have sample size? There's the tile X, tile Y. That was definitely too large of a coordinate. Maybe I got my math slightly wrong on my scale factor. Oh, this changes everything. That was absolute coordinates. Which was consistent with the other tiles I was doing. But what units would that even be in? Yeah, you would get a different tile width if I had already scaled it. So if I scale, if I did just scale those coordinates, and then also adjusted the tile width to just be 256, at all times. That could work, although I'm thinking that maybe we should just... Well, this is PNG. This is not text files that need to have coordinates in them per se. PNGs are all going to be relative. But that changes this. Well, no, it's still TXTY, but we don't do the coordinate translation. Indeed. All right, so this should be unchanged. I'm going to put my other window up. Map. I need to filter some more files out of here. Activity map. I'll call it test layer so far. All right, so min native zoom, max native zoom. Right, basically it's on a screenshot layer that actually did have this. So I think it was not this, but we have to this has to be actually correct. Oh, it's not 25. Oh, it needs to be 23, not 25. I mean, yeah, I haven't written the code to scale that properly. We can see how bad it looks. But that's going to be like, does it be divided by what point hat? 0.5 or... No, it's actually right now it is going to be 4. Yeah, so it's all spaced out because it's not properly designed for that. So we should probably just clean up that mess. What were you? 667. I think that was one of the early ones. Or that, oh, it might not. Might actually be a slight variant of that on the output. 744 is where it ended. Yeah, so 25 is going the wrong way. We would have to write code to properly expand that, or write a different sized PNG, but once you get to that 1 square per, you're kind of good there. And this needs to be updated, which is in the other window. All right, so now 23, max 25. You must have forgot to run this. That seems like 2 groups. Now, I don't know if my color scaling is going to hold up here. As more and more stuff gets compressed. One of the things we have to do is kind of a... All right, so normally it seems like most rendering techniques I've tried hold up for about 4 levels of zoom. So that's going to be 24, and I might not actually do 24. because we have other object layers, which are, maybe I turned those off, but I thought they were actually on earlier. I might have done that to make this clearer. But I'd swear last time I looked at it, I had both. Well, I know the base layer was layered wrong, which is kind of a test setup thing. So right now that's 24, which is debatable. So maybe I should actually make up to, so 23, 22, 21, 20. And then let this go up to 20. And then all of the outside stuff is not found. So that's 21. I mean, it tells you there was something going on there. And then we just don't even show it. So if you were scanning through the map looking for stuff, that would still be useful, and it starts to be less and less tiles as it goes up. So would that be 16? As I don't need to actually process all of them again. You can still see some things there, and normally there will be more activity. Okay, so that, yes, this is what I mean by 4 levels. It starts to become useless. Let's see. So 0, 0 we can find. We need to be around what, 5 million? Is that 5 million, or is that the wrong scale? If I 2019. Whoa. Oh, okay. It recentered me at zoom 17. Okay, we had a couple little tutorial dots here. Okay, you were not represented by that. Oh, this is after, isn't it? Can I get this arc? What was this arc? Up until 129? Wait, 2019? Well, I've already messed it up now. Oh, that was start time. The end time code is what this writes out. One, 5, 6, 4, 6, 3, 2, 7, 4, 4. Uh, 731? Would that be the end time of that? So maybe. Okay, so this one. Oh, there was a tutorial town there. But no map logs? I mean, maybe I could back out from some tile coordinates, because you'd think it would have generated some of that. Yeah. So they're out there. I just don't... This doesn't tell me what the coordinate translation is. Oh, this is like 1 dot. Probably going to be more, actually, yeah, it'd be like 1 dot. Yeah, out in these. Yep, and there they are. I was hoping this would make it visible at this scale. And I was also hoping that these things would find it for me. $10, $12. Oh, we're like way out. Okay, so that was some lives that were happening there, which you'd think would have been a lot of the activity. But that is not matching up. So zoom 19, and zoom 16. Although, let's see, let's get lives off. Where is... Yeah, you can see that there's something there. Oh, that's a much denser area. But I'm not seeing it here. Let's zoom 9. Okay, we do have to be at least up here. Or at least to there. And then I almost need this again to see if we're even close. So it wasn't like 100 at zoom 17. Actually, these are tile coordinates. 164. And we didn't happen to get any matching data for that. Or any matching lives that hit those spots. So, still not... Yeah. I guess if I kept going up in scale, there'd still be at least 1 pixel. Maybe you could spot it. Oh, yep, okay, we are getting data in here. And that's the tutorial placement, and then whatever. Hey, Sonic Song, how's it going? And then whatever the person did, somebody tried something here. They didn't get all the way. But you can't exactly spot that from space. What if we went all the way up for kicks? I guess 2 was as far as I took anything else. It's going to be a whole bunch of 1 pixel images. View 1 kilobyte. Oh, that's not too bad, I guess. And then our front end has to know it can display those. Well, you can kind of see there's a pixel there. And actually zoom 9 is enough for what I was looking for there. Is it just being able to find where stuff happened? I thought I might have seen like somebody ran off down there, but maybe not. Yep, nope, on the way out. Yeah, the bits that was a 1 before it got reset. All right, and now that we can see those, how does that match up? Oh, we'll have to redo the search. This was like there, I think. Not at all. Yeah, those are, the life data we're getting is after the... Maybe I've got this off by 1. Is it actually you? Well, that's pretty small. Oh, yeah, that matches up better. So I was off by 1. Because this was a very, very small period. So we can process the data quickly. Although we apparently didn't record that because that's off. I'm starting to wonder if I'm doing some of my coordinate translations wrong. Because none of these are actually in here. And I've got the map data for this. Although curiously, only for this one? And then where is this stuff coming from? So this tells me I'm messing up my coordinates somewhere. Oh, actually... Yeah, Donkey Town's sort of visible. But is it right? It feels slightly wrong. Did I lose my my coordinate flip here? Oh, no, that's only offset. I wonder, is it possible? No, that stuff ended up on the right side of the board, so it's not a... But Y is the thing that's weird, and the way we did this translation might have flipped the sign. Oh, yep. That was a negative tile Y. So that could explain the placement of those. So what do we have to do? Does this then not flip? Maybe we ended up with some kind of double flip going on there? Oop, we have to rerun it. That might actually end up creating different tiles, though. So we might have some ghosts until I clear everything out. Okay, so that's still off. Well, we can definitely look at this to see if that lines up correctly. Okay, so this has set me maybe to the front of the period? Yeah, because I just put in the time step. I saw the appropriate thing. So, okay, so actually this is off. could be, okay, so yes, that's flipped. Okay, so I know it's 731 to 731 is what I should be looking for. So no wonder everything's off. And that does look flipped. All right, so now, yeah, now we might have the garbage data. Oop, it's not what I expected. I thought it was a little bit farther in. All right, so that matches up. Interesting that we hit some of these same, maybe it's every time the server restarts, it hits that same level. Oh, you didn't get any Evetown hits, though. So I was like picking that up from other stuff. Interesting. Okay, so I can't check that. I might be able to check some Donkeytown. Ooh. My tile coordinates are messed up now. Because none of that's matching. Oh, wait, this isn't matching. So when I do this... Oh, nope, that was 2 small periods there. Okay. So it's a 20 to 22. Okay, you did have some tutorial glitches. And that actually maps. And we can get 1 pixel there, so it's like it's visible, but it's not super visible. If you kind of know where to look. So you kind of need to be out like zoom 910 just to even be able to see where that area is. These zooms are not super practical, but we're only going to get 4 tiles. At like with like 1 pixel each. All right, and oh, maybe there were no Donkeytowns up here in this one. I thought I might have seen them before. What about up here somewhere? Oh, yeah, there was a different one we were looking at that had some things up there. But we should have actually recorded all of these births, so that could make sense. I'm actually sort of surprised I haven't blown out my color range, going all the way up here and summarizing all of that stuff into 1 pixel. Although one thing I did think about is I might have to try and somehow do the coloring relative to time. Because if it's relative to chunks, some chunks are just going to get smaller and have less room to accumulate counters. Like this is a very, very small chunk. We've kind of been basing stuff on that. When we process a much larger thing, like it took me quite a while to upload today's log. Well, I mean, this is still good for fast iteration. Let's see. Actually, I might... Could I do... also, even though this is a very small one, 161 kilobytes. 148 kilobytes. So that actually, well, that's the static snapshot, and this has like a whole bunch of zoom levels. This is the big one. And I never did investigate what I could do with custom rendering. Now, this is going to be a lot more performant. So there's that. Because browsers know how to display images. Yeah, megabytes. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot, I guess. What am I currently doing for color scaling? I'm guaranteeing a maximum value, which at that level doesn't, which is probably something we still need. I need some idea of what our actual maximum value should be. In part, I wonder if I need to have a different scaling factor for every zoom level, or maybe I can make it a function of zoom level. Because every one is potentially 4 times the one below it. All right, well, that is the math I would need if I was going to do that coordinate. I don't know that I need to do that. Okay, I don't need to calculate that anymore. So we don't necessarily need to do that. Oh, I was printing out paths, which I think we've got that down pretty good. Oh, I did this for my coordinate translation. That's the only place I used it. It was only useful in as much as I'm printing this out. And that's not even a global X anymore. How is it not complaining that this doesn't exist? I guess it's assuming it's a global variable itself. Of course, none of this exists. So today would certainly be a good test. It would be also probably a slow test. I guess I should get this working on useful coordinates first. So that is our coordinate translation. How badly did I hack up map process for this? This is where committing became a little annoyance. Because now I can't just check that diff. And selectively undo some things. Okay, so you're good, you're good, you're good. That's that. Actually, that's not too bad. Wait, did I forgot to add files to this before. Because this thing just has a bunch of... I guess we should checkpoint that. This makes me a... are we ever going to use act plane? The problem is this actually did depend on just writing out the coordinates as is, which the renderer would have to deal with, which is something. It was certainly one way to view the data. But we never even wrote a renderer for it. I should probably do like local ignores in a lot of my miscellaneous files here. All right, so the thing we have to sort out on the front end is I need to be passing timestamps. I need to create these layers for every period. And I need to pass the timestamp to it. So how do we pass extra data? Do I have to override the URL function for that? I don't think I've ever done timestamp screenshots before. So that will immediately break things. 744, that should be our, I believe that is our data time. Yep. So it's going to say no value provided for variable. Is that just things that we do here? Or do I have to put them someplace particular? Okay, so that does work. So we just have to set those options on whatever layers we make. So this is going to be like unto a key placement sprite layer. And I might be able to make a type for that like pre-encodes some of the options. But we just have a function that creates that. Activity. So like the pane, class name, all of that could be set up in a subclass arrangement. And even if I just got a function creating them, all it's going to do is merge options. Oh, we have to decide, I probably don't want to be actually displaying this as we zoom in. Or I would have to have some kind of option to do that. Create arc. Key placement, map, create arc, point overlay, arc update tiles. That's map log setup stuff. This is kind of following from that stuff. But you're there, and then, okay, create arc, create map logs down there too. Set object layer options. This is going to be a static one, though. Create arc. Activity map layer. You don't need generation parameters. Probably still base attribution. We've got a creation function for these tile layers. Oh, it's a layer group in order to have the attribution layer in there. Time is going to be, we'd have to do an end2 string here. Interesting. Maybe we should have. Oh, that's, Oh, that's the attribution. Base attribution layer is attribution. That might be okay. I wonder why I did it that way. Should I do this without the group? Oh, that was bio. Oopsie. Well, okay, we just removed that, so. How about names? Is that something that was handled internally? With like these types of things? No. Maybe I did that for the static layers. All right, now I need to do that, or do these kinds of things. So map log point. Span.maplog point. Do we reference those if... do we have to do this for data time? Oh, I may have been setting it as data time. How is that going to work during, no, because every arc is going to have its own thing, and it's going to be only that thing for that. Okay. We can't display anything different. Well, animation mode, you're not going to see anything at the higher level, so I guess it'd be fine to still display it. In fact, I don't think you'll have the animation option there. Okay, map log point. And there's the name. Span.datatime. It should be all you need. And then there is a point. Set object, highlight options, where we decide what to include. So this is going to be oh, I turned off the biome layer. Oh, so this is we have to oh, I haven't tested getting this layering right yet. Probably less than below an overlay. Target world dot act map, and then I don't think you're doing zoom checks. We're relying on leaflet to take care of that stuff. Activity map. Oh, right, because we had references to that. Activity map, test layer. Maybe. Oh, I still have to decide if I want to do zoom 25. Okay, so that still defined that. Which we referenced by its indirect name. Okay, that is not coming up. Is this a layering issue? Yeah, base layer. It's not, this isn't technically base layer, but I guess it's kind of in there. Is this a layering issue, or is this a data time issue? Is this we never added it to the map? Data animated targets. Oh, this is actually going to be. This is a span. Okay, we have that. Okay, so those take a little while to render. I might need an option to actually disable base layer to. It's like I could spot that in the big wide map. But not here. Actually, this kind of falls into some of the counting we're doing here. I end up doing this, this falls under both of these a little bit. Disable base biome layer because it's expensive. I probably don't need checker at this point. Ooh. Okay, now. Just rendering in. I almost wish we were like doing it one zoom up. All right, so that's, oh yeah, because we're leaving it on for 25. So at zoom 24, you could before potentially see some floors and trees. Well, most of those trees lotted out there. This is going to kind of obscure that. So it's like at zoom 24, I might need an option to, if I left zoom 24 in, I might need an option to turn it off. All right, let's, so we've been looking at, oh, no, you're a different 731. Oh, yeah, you get the rendering lag now. That was still like a day, that was like a couple of days. I don't know if I have any setup two arcs in one file, one arc with multiple start times, multiple files, one seed, smaller data set, micro span at end, 0-byte file, double start times at beginning. Yeah, none of these others are just like slightly different times. And it's not going to match up exactly to what this is. Yeah. In the current world, you can sometimes make out floors. We're not getting as much of that, so maybe a zoom 24 is useful there. Although for identification purposes, we could cut this off at an arbitrary point, and it would just zoom up. Nope, we didn't quite get locked into that position, I guess. Or I got the wrong 731. Yeah, you. So get fully updated. Yeah, so actually offsetting that by 1 to larger points almost works. And that gets you some hotter regions. You can tell it's summarized. That would just get you bigger pixels at this layer, which I guess would help in identifying spots if all the pixels were big. But this is actually this is drawing 1 to 1. It's only at that one layer that we had that summarized. Yeah, so that's going to be fat pixels, but then this will be 1 to 1. I'll cut down my data a bit. That looks very pixelated, but I mean, it's a heat map. So I'm going to tell you where, no, that's the biome stuff. Still going to tell you where stuff is happening. It's just not going to be a perfect track to but then you would actually cut this off at something like 24 or 25. Nope. Okay, so that's 24, which is the level where you can kind of barely make out structure before. It's kind of yeah, now you see, it's kind of interesting to... Yeah, we got that word flicker. I think there was actually a bug that didn't matter because I wasn't normally publishing the layer that did that. And I maybe should update leaflet sometime to see if they finally fixed that. So of our data set, (161 kilobytes), zoom 24. Well, we're not even getting a size on disk. Is a goodly chunk of that. So this is actually max zoom 24. We cut back this to here. It gets you a little bit of blockiness. And we're debating where to actually cut off drawing. Yeah, I might need to fix that flicker bug if I'm going to be cutting this one in and out. It'd have to be toggleable if it was, or at least toggleable at zoom if you expected it to be visible all the way in. And then we have to process, I mean, I guess the current period would be pretty good for high volume. Although maybe the previous sale would be more representative. No. Family trees. Well, I guess really it kind of comes down to the biggest file, which Well, these were big because they were long. It doesn't tell me what my chunk size is going to be. Oh, so actually the most recent one is our biggest log. I think we had more peak players during the last sale. But we've got, this could be the secondary tutorial, spreading things out a little bit. So that is going to be a, wow, that's going to be quite the high volume test. Okay, so that was comparable. That was seed, so that was like the last rift. Which would probably, if that was a rift, maybe people broke out of that one. It might be more condensed. Oh, but that probably broke into multiple spans because that was with the pre-split version. This also breaks into multiple spans because I'm doing that, but that probably represented a longer time period. So I have to process something, and I'm probably have to make this zoom relative. Huh. I mean, it's not turning all red. Amazingly enough. Although colors get kind of confused out here. All right, so I need a way to get some, what are we processing? This is a big question. '22 versus '23 is a question. Let's see, and then that is where we cut off our rendering currently. So not being able to zoom in and see the... I might have to do some kind of option that goes through and flips max zoom on these or something. I guess for me looking at stuff, this is useful. Testing stuff. Okay, actually, yeah, we identified these by files. I am going to have to reprocess this because we still need to set our limits. Oh, I should probably have this as comparison for a small count, huh? You're the front end. This might, in fact, where we want to do center identification, get the busiest tile and pick that as your spot. But well, we can track a max in here. We have to do this lookup again, which is unfortunate. Actually, can we do, like... We want... I know when you're doing when you're limiting, when you're clamping things, you actually do the opposite operation. We want the larger of value or our current maximum. And at the end, we do yield, we do yield. We ever do an early return? No. Oh, I need to know what zoom this is at. Remember when I printing out some zoom information? I might still be printing out too much stuff. Okay, then we hit a point where everything is like in one tile. And okay, so we're going down to smaller tiles. So at zoom 24, we've got a 500. At the top level, we've got 59,000. So, 59459. And I might have to do one of the big rift ones just because that's going to get more intense. If we do 24, it's like 550. All right. Oh, you know what? I would like to take a break, but we can let this run because it might take a while. And I should probably check how much I'm outputting here, because if it's like a per file print, I'm printing my tile map, which I might not want to do. Right, der zoom, that would be this. One 160660825. And we took this one off. Now this is gonna this is gonna hit multiple spans actually. But we'll get a maximum number within each span, I believe. Oh no, that'll be the max of any of the spans. Oh, I've still got a process firing off from somewhere. Oh, it's writing those and has not hit a max yet. Okay, well that's, yeah, it'll take a while. I'll be back in a little bit. Yep. Ah! Well, I can at least try to get near to the truck, or actually I could even try to get near to home base from this height. See, you got to make that body retrieval easy. You just put it right along the path, pick it up on your way back to the truck.
All right, Liam. You've got to pick Bonnie up. Do you understand? You're right there. She's dying. She's calling out for help. You just have to pick her up. Just pick her up. Instead, he picked up granite. He picked up granite. God almighty. Liam! Oh my god.
It's because you're trying to call the read passwords on the list and not each individual object in there. So the list doesn't have the read passwords method, it's actually the objects inside the list. So if you say, for example, readers index 0.read passwords, I think that would work. So I think that's your issue there. So just do a for loop in that try.
Okay. I don't know what that... Oh! But I don't want to get any closer! I am not looking forward to this! Get down! Oh! You fly hacks! You fly... Yeah, that was like one of those two. Fly hacks are like, probably like...
Oh my god, oh, it's you. No, I mean...
Quest that I have to do. Alright, let's go find... What's her face? What's her face, McFaceface? PB. We're not doing anything with PB right now. I don't have an email. I don't think I have an email. Yep. Sam's a dick. He lies to me all the time.
Welcome back. Let's see, so we're on what? Okay, might be on 24. Is this building up? So that one's going to... Oh, no, it's only the 7, maybe. Oh, no, yeah, we're still doing 4s. Yeah, so 8. I wonder if it's going span by span? But I thought it did all spans in one thing. So I was thinking that if I ever did want to do an index, I should write it while I'm doing the initial processing of things. Read index, write index, tile set dot tile. Okay, so that's a tile set thing. So we didn't do a tile set type thing here. Tile index. Okay, clear out empty, which I don't think will be an issue here because we don't have like removed things to worry about. Map tile to tile.chords, tile time, and flatten. One level flatten that, so it's a triple. Let's see, map. Oh, you zoom to, oh, this is zoom 24, so this is one zoom level. And then I think it's the encoding of this that understands things. Oh, this format won't quite work because we don't care about time. Yeah, because in any given period, if it falls to 0, we don't want to see it anymore. Even though there was stuff there, we'd need a different type of activity layer that was cumulative over all time to say how much has this part of the map been touched ever, which would involve loading up previous things and combining their counts. Because you've got unbounded growth. Those counts could just keep going up and up and up and up if we hung out in a place for a while. I guess I could perhaps use this format and just only have one timestamp in it. And then if we ever wanted to do it as cumulative, we'd have that available. That means we'd have to make everything as a triple. Okay, you're just that. Right index. The right index. Oh, I didn't extract this. So I would need to have a. It's not even extracted. So I could either copy this and modify it, or we pull it out into its own thing so I can just have an index format. Yeah, triple stir zoom. Actually, well, tile sets already have some read and write stuff, I think. Yeah, they've got loaders for that. But the point is we're not using a tile set for this because it implies the kind of tile it's going to have, and like floors and objects, and maybe tile sets actually don't involve floors and objects. But it counts on like placements and properties of the tile that it's working with. Okay, we're on Zoom 16. So getting an index file is going to be a separate little project to extract that writing, because the timestamp header wouldn't really hurt us that much. And it could might be able to reuse some loading code on the other end. Well, that loading might be based on doing stuff across time as well. Or do we just need to start on that? 17. The writing stage is going to get longer and longer as we go down to 24. If indeed we do 24, I want to generate this one. I could start doing... Well, I could start looking at the mathematics of this. Oh, you know what? Some intermediate points would have been good to get the shape of it. How can we just put a point on here? Let's see. For is it width of tile? We did a math pal. A 2 to the x, which is x and which is y. Yeah, so that's like our tile width. This is for number of entries. So we think that I almost need like all the points from this curve, and then I can attempt to do a fit, and I didn't write down all the points from the curve. See, that might just be off the top here. Yeah. And that's going to be way off the top. Can I... no, I don't want to edit that. X-axis, Y-axis. U0 to... Well, we're going to have some even larger points here soon. Oh, I got those backwards. Oop. And probably actually want 0. So we had 550 down around there somewhere. And this would be going up towards... we kind of lost 24 there. So it's not quite this. Maybe I do need the intermediate points to say something about what the expected shape would be. And of course, this is for a very small unit of time. This is what, like 2 hours? About 2 hours, yeah. I mean, maybe the action per rate time would stay relatively constant. Well, that's going to be between time period steps, though. So that potentially shrinks our scale a lot. It gets down to 500. Y-axis. Wait, why are we still in the thousands? But is it linear or is it, well, for that kind of range, it might not matter. And if we did per unit time, 500 is probably going to be pretty exceptional. Now, no, because these are at different scales. We can't just get to a constant number. Let's see, so that is the activity per tile. Maybe per number of tiles included in the sample area? Maybe this is actually proportional to sample size. So I was doing that for absolute zoom. What was output activity map 24 minus zoom? And I was doing this in terms of zoom level. No, actually, I thought this is, oh, this is technically. Here, this is minus zoom. So this is going to be more like our scaling factor. Or our tile size. Sample size? So actually this thing is hitting, what's it, like 9? That's going all the way out to 24, which is, that's all look a lot of tiles. No, zoom 24 should be the smallest. This is the sample size, which is going to be, well, I mean, this is still the larger number at the extreme end of that. But maybe that will hold a better constant. Oh, we're doing something big. We are, looks like we might be on zoom 24. Maybe. Let's see, so the loop goes, we do each zoom level, and each zoom level does its spans. So yeah, we shouldn't be doing a whole other span set. So this one is going to be like the 1-to-1 scaling. So it would be like 5 is a peak. But this is going to have a sample size of a bunch. And it's only like 10 times more. Now, we didn't necessarily have time to like settle down and fix town areas for that little tiny bit there. Nor does this thing here going to represent a stable town scenario, but there's a lot more people generating a lot more things overall. Okay, it is done. So for this, which does represent, well, no, is this per span? The loop was for all spans. So that is all of Zoom 24. 24, we have a 3334. That's a full day. Unfortunately, I might have scrolled off too here. No, still something there. It's going to be hard to find. Two. I mean, that was 4 bits. A bunch, and that's the timestamp. Where's my max? Max. Eight 4 9 6 1. Of course, these are relative to an entire day. So we've got 8, 3, 4, and then what is it? Can we say, if we're doing seconds, to just pick a period? Then we have not 24 hours. This 24 hours in a day times 60 minutes. Is this 3600? No, seconds that's minutes in a day. Or that's seconds in an hour. So that's only 0.3. And 4 9 6 1. Yeah, so that's a very different picture. The orders of magnitude between those, though, might be more appropriate to the exponential function. That doesn't give me a number because it depends on x. Oh, we know exactly what this scale is. This is... so this was at 2. So if this is 24 minus, this is like to 22nd. Very small number. And actually, yeah, you're just there. So that's actually a much, and then that would just be constant because it would be a factor of 1. Oh, if we're doing it 23, it's going to be a small sample there. 24 minus zoom level is 22. So it's like per area in the sample. But as the samples get larger, we're diluting it with more and more empty space. Oh, but that's the tile size of the... No, that's the sample size. Even though there's a lot of the tiles of that sample size, which are empty space, but yeah. That chunk is potentially a sparse thing as well. So you're at 21 without that. That is... Okay, so this was like 100 times. This is like 1,000 times difference by itself. Over... what, like 22 steps? Maybe we need a different scaling factor? What is it like golden ratio? Doesn't this, okay, so that's a number. There's some other, like mathematical constants. Phi, okay, yeah, golden ratio. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of like E, but that's actually a large number. So that would be a little bit smaller. Actually, Desmos probably just has that as a option. A little bit smaller. At the, wait, is it phi? Yep. Is that a different phi? I guess that could be a different font version of it. This seems like an odd little curve, though. And not at all what I got here. Yeah, it's not reporting the number to me. It's just just is. Maybe that's something else in their system. That gets us closer to... No, it's the same order of magnitude in the other direction. That doesn't help. Inching, that almost feels like a similar number. Or do Oh no, if I did the log of the result of the division, we had two very different numbers. And those do at least have the same number of zeros. So the sample size is the potential squares, of which, as we zoom out, fewer and fewer are going to be occupied. So there's probably some way to represent the, occupancy expectation. And could that be well, I mean, there's probably a simplification of that. That would just be log of 1, which is actually undefined. So we'd have to watch out for that. That gets us to the same order of magnitude difference as these. Of course, we haven't applied the same formula to those. Makes a smaller difference, which actually makes those less similar. 0.3 to 3. Yeah, no, this is done one order of magnitude, and that's to 3. Well, this probably does represent a more active time, so that might be an unfair comparison. Oh, also we have data. We just have to find the right time for it. Oh, it's not going to be here. So that's kind of doing its job. Okay, oh, I probably left it on for, debugging purposes. But now we're getting we're getting that flicker bug. And it's doubling down on it too. I might have actually had multiple spans here. Oh, yeah, there were a couple of quick ones there. Oh, probably this is where the actual data is, and then we pass the past the data point. Yeah, between the two 18s. So we definitely had a couple chunks there. Probably still a bit of the old towns here. So the width, just doing it with the cap is sort of working. We just peek out in like bakeries and things, and yeah, I may have to hot patch. Well, I should update leaflet and hope they fixed it, and then I might have to hot patch that flicker thing. But for now, I just can't do those zoom levels. I mean, I can kind of get a sense. Yeah, it's bakeries. Have all the transitions going on. So what I'm doing now actually isn't terrible, but it's not gonna be comparable between different periods. What exactly are we doing now? And really, we're not going to be testing on that. This is PNG. Just number of transitions. You know, it's surprisingly... I guess it's probably kind of turning red there. Oh, I wonder... We had to go out to like zoom 9 or 10. Oh, well... So here's the regular tutorials. We skipped one every now and then. Maybe you were an old one? Not in this period. And we can also see where the In the Wild tutorials are. Most of which don't have a whole heck of a lot going on. Yeah, there's the direct map placements, although I'm not seeing the biome placement. So it's gonna be like the onions and the tutorial stone. Which actually, and we've got this thing, so we should have those. Oh, they're right there. So it's like placing down nothing in all of that area. And then the summarizing as we pull out kind of helps identify that. But we keep going down to like 1 pixel. Or I'm in the range where the flickers get... No, yeah, keep going down to 1 pixel. I'm starting to wonder if this would be more useful if I actually did do multiple pixels per. And set it up... How would I do that? I mean, leaflet normally wants 250... The default leaflet renderer wants 256 by 256. So I'd essentially have to arrange to tell it to stretch the image over something else and then like offset my buckets for each zoom level appropriately. Because those are very, very spaced out, and it's, yeah. So So it's almost impossible to see them there. Okay, so count sort of works. But it's not going to have any relevant relativity to the amount of time represented in the sample period. Which is something we're going to have to pass down because their spans are going to get broken up. And they're actually not. Oh, actually, that's correct. This is not a full day. These counts are from, maybe call it 8 hours? I mean, that's a constant scale on it. But puts it a little bit closer to this. And if I ran the sample data similar, maybe I could try to get like a sense of the hit rate in a typical tile. Well, in a typical sample of how much, I guess is the question. So this is working surprisingly well. How do we make it relative to time spent while kind of maintaining scale? Number of transitions in this sample area per capita, and just doing sample area gives us very, very small numbers because it's all sparse. If we don't consider area, which we weren't doing that before, and that part of it sort of worked, then even our peak is effectively 0 here, and you'd want to see some detail at the lowest level. And we just have to accept that this is always going to be red, essentially. Because all your activity is there. So this was a very small period. Ends up actually having... Okay, so these are actually comparable now. Because, no, they're not. We're saying we don't do that. We're like an order of magnitude difference between our different chunks. One was in the rift and one wasn't. One is only a 2-hour sample. Oh, wait a minute. That's 120 minutes. Those are sort of comparable. That's still off by one order of magnitude, but this was a super busy time, so maybe that makes sense. So if we scale it to actions per time, we would call, no, I don't have the exact proper time values for this. I'd have to reprocess that. Accounting for the time value of that particular span. And actually, since this is exceptional, would you want to do like scale it for 10 with a max on that? Let's see, and this was for the this is for the smallest tiles. So you'd never, that would give you never like any kind of red point. And actually, we do get some peaks because all of that. This is the per tile maximum. $550 actions in that time period, 59,000 actions in that time period in a much larger area. And of course, that's a really large area, so maybe it should be really red. But then we're looking at like 0.1 with a max at scaling to 0.1 with a max of 0.1. And then these things are just pure red. Well, I mean, right now we're summing up huge numbers and capping it at 240, which somehow isn't pure red. Because you can't really see that pixel. Yeah, so down around here it's like pure red. And it's faded, so it's kind of hard to read. And that's actions per second. I mean, we could scale it and call it actions per minute, and it'd be fine. So 0.1 actions per second is still a lot. It's 1 every 10 seconds. And this is over a large area. The stuff included in that area was very active. So that's just value. 240 minus, we do need to max it. I need to pass down my time value for the span. Which this is where I might need some kind of tile object to track that. Although each span is only going to be one chunk. So we've got a span start. And actually, I'm already returning the span with it. So we're using span SN2S. You're getting span SN for your tag. Actually, do you need zoom anymore? For your path. No, you might not need it. And you had to add that because we were doing it relative to tile size. Or rather, we were calculating the offsets. All this is really going to change over to like period. Oh, nope, the path. The path is still at zoom. All right, that was the directory of the path. All right, to get you passed in, yeah, because you're not getting a full span. No. All right, span S end. What's a span? Is it S start? And that is seconds. So that's the unit we were kind of playing with. So we have a count. I guess my calculation thing, it'd be another pass, and this is a pass, so it would take some of that out of the encoding method, but this is an encoding method specifically for PNGs, so okay, so our formula is some value divided by some value this is more of a number really, but potentially. Well, I guess I've got these things that are kind of like those numbers, and we want to, so you're so that we're going to have a max on you, but we need to scale you to 240 times 10. And I guess you could make it times period with that. It wouldn't be really period then. It would be like scaling factor. So you could just pre-calculate that. Or maybe this should just record facts. Color scale? All right, map process. Okay, we're back on small file. Did I not save this? Did I not? I didn't remove you. No. Oh, that's the entire list of all things that are known. Where am I still printing that? From here. And that stuff is now known. Okay, well, right, it was using higher level zooms, so it was all blurred out. I'm not seeing a whole lot of differentiation here. And we've got our bug coming up. So it's hard to even see what's going on. Well, I just need to see if there's something there. It's as nice as it is to know where it is. To deploy this at lower zooms, I'm going to have to by time, base layer by time. I'm going to have to implement a fix for that bug. Or at the object are still there, it's just the biome layer that's messing it up. Yeah, zero differentiation. So that's this case. $183. Seems like that should be something. I think I was seeing this as a very active tile before. Maybe my period calculations are messed up. Also, let's see. No, other window, activity, output. Oh, I'm here. Let's skip the high zooms. Let me go back to just doing a few levels up for now. So the period factor right now is only being calculated here. We can probably get the same kind of thing. By direct calculation, I need to know, yeah, scale 0. Probably we're doing integer math here. This part in particular is the sticky point, and then this thing has to get rounded back down. That looks a little bit more reasonable. And that's as far as we rendered there. Oh, I actually rendered. Oop, no, you're the wrong one. Now, I might not need to go all the way to level 2. Oh. Yeah, it's PNG. Practically speaking. We were spotting, what, tutorials at like 9 or 10? Well, some of that's the Rift. And there have been times when stuff scattered out along the line, I guess. But yeah, I think I might need to do some kind of not one-to-one on the layers here, which is going to be a little bit awkward. I essentially have to modify how I'm writing them and how I'm showing them. Yeah, so yeah, at this level, we've got some kind of red stuff going on. It's probably fair. We can kind of see some hotspot centers. This actually got red before, I think. So we're going to have to look at some more active time periods to see if we ever get reds on this map scale, and then maybe tweak things from there. Because indeed, this was saying that this is not a maximum value, even though that's like the busiest thing in that very small period. But this one with the busiest period in current situation is there, so that's probably okay. Okay, so we've basically done our color scaling. Let's see, max reporting. Was sort of useful, but I don't know if we really need that. Well, I might actually want a version of that for center determination. Well, it's going to have to be from only one of the zoom levels. All right, well, if we're going to do larger things, we definitely don't need 24. Well, I guess at that level it's zooming up, but... However, the thing we're not going to be doing is printing that out. I guess the range samples may have some value, although I could perhaps move that into like notes or something. Time relative color scale. Yeah, no, I want you. So this is a semi-functional implementation of this. Oh. But if I take it all the way down, I have to fix that bug. So I may have to stop and do a leaflet update here. Let's see. If we ship this, probably going to want to tweak some settings. But we got a basically working thing. All right. What do we have? To adjust the relative size of a tile, because we want to display it over one thing. And actually, what did I do with my super sampling? This is kind of like the opposite of that. So I was basically rendering a canvas at twice the size of the tile size. So that's draw tile, create tile. All right, so leaflet is setting the height and width. We're telling the canvas it's bigger than that. So this is canvas specific. Maybe I could do like image height and width attributes. This might be a grid layer thing. That's not quite right. Methods. Get tile size. Yeah, tile size. I was doing cell size somewhere too. Create canvas. That's the height and width of the canvas of tiles in the grid. All right, so a standard image is not going to do that. If I wrote them larger into the images, PNG compression might be able to kind of figure that out and wash out most of the waste. There's going to be a whole bunch of repeated data values. I was like, I want the tile size to, in fact, be that. If I simply wrote Well, no, we're currently writing 256. If I simply wrote 128 tiles, would it just zoom them up? Oh, no. Oh, I guess the quickest way to check that. Activity. Map. So this will be all messed up, but... I'm not even quite sure what that would mean to this. Okay. We got my base layer on. So that does look like it's basically just going to stretch it. So our output system, and this is we're going to need to clear the data at some point here. Needs to write a zoom level offset by 1. Oh no, but we want to... The default tile size is fine. So that's kind of built in. That's kind of built in. We could make that a parameter, but I don't really see the use of it right now. Now that is a thing that also goes into this, and maybe getting those synchronized. So that comes into the tile size calculations, which are done in terms of zoom. So the tile width, which way does that go? Now I could say we're going to do our is this a subsample? It was super sampling when I was doing more detail. It's like a subsample. So tile width is going to be using for our modulus. So at zoom 24, 32 minus 24 is 8. We want to take the tiles we were making. Or do we actually go through all of these zoom levels and then just change our sample size? No, because tile width is still going to be... The number of tiles, the number of game tiles sampled is going to stay the same. This is saying 24 was 1-to-1. This is going to say 25 would be 1-to-1 if we did it. Tile width. Percent tile width. But then divided by sample size. So we want initially the same coordinate and then compress it down more. And then that should get us a smaller range of coordinates. Oh, I was doing everything. PL. Let's see, we're in 744. (128 by 128). Okay, that fits. And maybe even, it could be like 64. Oh, this might change our scaling factor a little bit. Although on this tile, it doesn't look terrible to have a little red spot there. The larger pixels are a little bit easier to see, but I actually want to say we might want a larger thing if we're trying to pick stuff out. Oops, it's still rendering just slowly. Ashley, is there, I know, tile width wise, I would guess we still want to go up to 2. It's just we're gonna have bigger chunks. Did I see some random points there? Maybe that was something else. Okay, so those are a little bit easier to pick out. Okay, it's pushing it off to one corner for the most part, it seems like. Oh, that's wrong. So why did 25 work and this didn't? Maybe I never tested zooming in? Yeah, so that matched up perfectly. We incremented our sample size 1. And really, I could be doing my max zoom layer here. Oh, okay, so here's one thing. You went to 23 that we're generating. I might not have the display matched on that. Max native zoom 23, we did match that. Does leaflet only allow it to vary by 1 order of magnitude? Oh, wait, why are you still 128 by 128? So I'm probably looking at 23 right now. That won't exist anymore. Those do indeed look like they've been stuck down in a... Yeah, you're 120. Why are you still 128? Because that's a separate parameter, so maybe that should be passable. PNG. Yeah. Output path, zoom, period. Um, output path, zoom. This kind of goes with zoom. It's way more way more parameters than I want. And then we have to pass that down to you. Right tiles. So that has the sample size in range. Samples, which neither of these have. Right, because I switched it to that before. So tile width. Oh, it's just going to be 64, but what is 64? Is that 32 minus 26? Let's see. It would be 32 minus 24, which is 8, which would be 256. What do you call that? It's like basically this thing becomes sort of a constant. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. And it's kind of a 26 is kind of a weird number too. It's like the higher you make that zoom offset, the blockier they become. Or do I back into it the other way? I say I want to make tiles this big and you figure out what that is. Because that's just a constant, we can pass it down here. Sort of gets us close. How do we translate this then? Because we effectively want to take... Would that be like square root of that? 32 minus square root of that? No. So square root isn't quite the right thing. No. That's what we're doing effectively. Because I don't know if Ruby's goes differently. Like the anti-power of 2. Is it like a log? Mod 2. 6. 26, 32. Okay, and what's that in Ruby? Logger. Okay, there is a log too. Or can that be usefully derived from something else? Would that just be tile width, sample size? Would that just be... That kind of sounds about right. Tile size. Okay, so that was my pair of numbers. Sample size goes down to 8 at 512. Okay, so we stopped short of 256, which would have been... That used to be a 2, didn't it? But it does go up. $512. Good. Would have been tile size of 256, which should have been a sample size of... Well, no, because sample size was blah, 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 minus zoom. And that formula just had to be adjusted appropriately. Or, no, 64 may have been farther than I went before. It was 24 when it was 1-to-1. We've gone up 2 steps since then, and that was 1 step up. So I guess that's right. These, oh, because these are rift pictures. They're going to be a little bit. They are going to be inset a little bit. 64 by 64. It's blurring over the rift boundaries a little bit. So is that our coloration? No, that's following this. So there's... I mean, maybe that's just where gaps are, and it just happens to be hitting a particular way against these colors. I don't think it's bad on these. Wait, did I get into a different time step here? Yeah, just this was the hot spot before. It's not nearly as detailed. But to a certain extent, what we're looking for is how visible is this out here? Hey, Demonic. Sort of visible. Maybe I should be defining this in terms of sample size. Because really what I want is bigger pixels. And we've gone up 2 steps right now. So at 1 to 1, that would be effectively 4. And tile size, well, leaflet is 256. We can still define it in terms of sample size, but we can just define, why not, that's still zoom level. This is going to be more like, box sample size is the right word. And it's 4 at the base level, and then if we change this, which are kind of counting on it to be powers of 2, then we figure out what the effective tile size is going to be. Which, no, I don't just want to... That would help at the bottom end if I just shifted the zoom levels in leaflet. But it's not going to make the pixels bigger up here if I do that. Tch. 16 by 16 image is the lowest level. Okay, so that's easy to spot activity. It's all red at this level. Which I guess per area, I guess that kind of makes sense. And we don't get super detailed. Although I guess that would add more value to taking these down farther. But I think at some point we just cut this out. I wanted something that could use to identify. So this is our 1-to-1. Although the lower level details would definitely look better. Yeah, so we've got a balancing act between kind of being able to pick out structure at this zoom level versus being able to identify activity areas at this zoom level. And it's still rendering. It's also still checking for tiles that don't exist. But it kind of needs to be this big to identify the tutorials effectively. But as I start generating, I mean, admittedly these are smaller tiles now. One kilobyte. 172 kilobytes. Oh, size, yeah, because they're really small files, so there's a lot of space bloat there. But that's down a lot from 160. Of course, generating more files is still going to be more data. And then front end. Yeah, 23. Nope, that was 25, but that would be the native zoom of it. Yeah, I kind of don't like some of the patterns here. It makes it look like there's almost something going on there. Also, this is kind of taking it to just blue and red. Admittedly, our counts are a little bit different because we're grouping things higher. I mean, at 8, that's like a 64 times increase. Oh, wrong project. What do we do here? Oh. Color scale. Does that take it up or down? This is being multiplied by the color. So maybe we just can throw this off now? Nope, we have to rerun that. Okay, that was too much. Oh, no, the problem there is that we lost floating point. Because that's where I was putting it. I might not actually need a floating point if I did all the multiplication and the division, but... Okay, it makes that a very... Maybe we still need something in there. Since most tiles are not completely full. It's starting to get red. Yep, this is data processing. The one nice thing, if I'd just done raw data, I'd be able to restyle everything easier. But then this is going to be much more efficient to display. Okay, that still makes that a little bit of a hot spot. Doesn't really do a good job of calling out the activity centers at lower levels, which the per pixel did. Would scaling it back up help give some additional tiles some color? And it's still just blocky here. It helps to identify things from really far off. It wouldn't really pick out towns in a rift. Maybe that block's too big. I could go down more levels of detail, but that's more data we have to store. Granted, our images are smaller at every level because we're using big block sizes. I know I have to realize if I need to do 24. Okay, so that's serviceable here. I'm going to have to rescale colors again. And it's going to be better than single pixels here. But still really hard to see. Yeah, I kept trying to generate stuff. I'm getting backlogged. So that is 24, so we would lose that. Well, we would lose that if we lost that level. We'd kind of be back at that mess. Which I guess that kind of follows. I mean, I would need to generate 24. And PNG. I wonder if this tracks. Well, no, it was 10 when I was going per pixel. But this is like my sample size offset. Wonder if that tracks. That's still pretty dim. I was doing 10 before. Oh, nope. Because that's a data processing thing. Okay. A little bit of a hot spot there. Probably more useful at picking things out at the at busier periods. You almost need to have the 24 to. Yeah, so when I did it per pixel, it was really easy to pick out where actual settlements were. And really, for the time period, something like that maybe should be a little bit more highlighted. Okay, so that's a red spot. That's going to be back to my original 10. Effectively, closely, nearly. And that's 24 with the smaller boxes. That still gets some hot spots. Kind of gets mixed up with the biome background, though. And at this side, I probably want to default have this cut out at a certain point. Oop. Yeah, per pixel give you a lot more structure. Somewhere around, I'm not sure if I wanted it at 24. It's like you're starting to see some of the actual tile stuff. We don't have a whole lot of the floors and things that are visible at this level in this data set. And maybe an option to adjust the display time of it if you did want to zoom in. A whole map. If we, let's see, so that's max native. Yeah. So it's actually supposed to be off and it's still bugging out. So we have to fix that bug. This comes down to a leaflet update. If I made any max zoom and max native zoom. I'm almost wondering if that's something I can do quickly. Touching paths. I might need a full path. Yeah, I need a full path. One giant function. Okay. But it only seems to have, looks like it only has one revision. So I don't think I've done any customization to it. List of blog posts. I also have to figure out which version I'm on. Oh, okay. So it has been a few little updates here. 1.4, possibly plus some patches. Keep aspect ratio for video overlays. Key down, key up. Shadow pane for markers. Using multiple maps. This control state. Attribution linked to HTTPS. Probably not too dangerous. Hotfix release. Second marker move. Markers inherent options. GeoJSON, iOS 13. This might affect some stuff, but that's probably background. Or would it change how listeners work? Touchscreens work. Some quirks on touchscreens. Problem with NPM dependencies. Oh, did I grab a dev version? Does this have... No, this does not have upcoming. You'd have to probably have to look at... Well, is this... No, this is master. So you'd have to actually look at... No, it's not going to be tagged. Just history. Or is it going to be the history of changelog? Yeah. It would need leaflet commits. References, character regex. Shadow panes. Cross origin option. They're getting a native time control, huh? Well, I probably wouldn't do my own anyway. Oh, this is just lists of plugins. Leaflet time control by you. Probably does not do all the things. I'm fairly certain it's not going to do all the things I want it to do, but do you have a sample so I can see if this is the one I used to be using? Oh, this seems to be snapshots. Autoplay button, timeline, interval. Yeah, I had a problem with the other one I did where I think it was a slider, but you basically had to give it an array of every single second if you wanted to go with that resolution. Written in TypeScript. So timeline, render slot, render active slot. Yeah, so that's a very, very step-oriented thing. That was documentation. Do my notes have the particular bug of interest here? Let's with max zoom on object pixel layer, which is sort of similar to some of the stuff we have now. It was a pull request though, not. It's a bug report. Closed. That was merged into something else. 1 year. No unit tests. Okay, approved, approved. Closed. So I might have to hot patch it. Or is this in Leaflet? No, this is in Leaflet. So this was a different patch to the same thing. Suggestion, but slightly different. Okay. So this was in April. This was released in September, so that actually should be good for that. Legacy version. I think that was the main thing I was interested in. All right, well, general update, and I knew that we had that bug hanging out there. I just didn't know that it had finally been taken care of. All right, so we would do, this is our copy of Leaflet. So leaflet.js, I probably had the map in there. Maybe I didn't need the maps in there. I think the source I could switch into if I needed it. Those, well, they did do something with shadow layers. Okay, that's all leaflet stuff. We have leaflet. Oh, we had leaflet and leaflet source. So I could flip them back and forth. Okay, no warnings there. I don't know if we were exhibiting the... maybe we were exhibiting flicker bug here. That could fade out a little bit, but... Oh, and I might want to see about... That's right, indexing. Math for summary buckets. We kind of have that done. And that is a thing we want to look into. No, I don't think I could give a user settable scale slider. It's not as simple as just loading a different level of detail. Well, you've got the... Maybe to an extent. Because what I do when we zoom all the way in here, if it was on, or similar to what this background layer does, we basically say the max zoom level has been exceeded, so the leaflet just scales it up for us. So if you had the more detailed layer, and then you like, it'd almost be like completely separate layers, or maybe you could update options. Was a grid layer. There was an image layer that had the Z index offset, or the zoom level offset. Yeah, because you do the URL stuff. Zoom offset. No, that just tells it how it fetches. It's still going to fetch for that level. So it'd fetch a larger level. Maybe if you played with tile size also, you could get to load a larger level to get a bigger summary, and then increase the detail level. So loading a larger level would just be like one big image. If you did finer detail, then it would be lots and lots and lots of images, which is no good. let's see. So let's see, we've got this. I might want to run this for the current period. So like while doing lunch stuff. And see what it looks like in a different scenario. No, that's the map. That will take a couple, I don't know, like tens of minutes. Admittedly, I was printing out a lot more junk then. Oh, you've still got some scale prints in you. Okay, and then I do want to get lunch. I think my groceries and stuff are in an okay place right now. I have to think about, no, I think I've got all the stuff I need for dinner too. So I might be able to do some One Life, at least the evening, if not in the afternoon. See if we can help out. I haven't looked. How's it doing during the daytime? Still high, not 200, but maybe close enough. So we'll see. No, not that one. Thanks for watching. What do we got going on? Neural networks. Game dev, UI library. That's what I'm usually on. Oh, I guess I never committed leaflet. Let's go back and do that. And hope everything continues working nicely. All right, nothing super similar to this, but maybe neural networks will be similar to getting a heat map to look nice. If you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, Fitzy Codes Things is trying to learn some neural network stuff. So that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.